morning. This is the Ferrari Brit with part 2 of our 40,000 mile review of the 2017 Alfa Romeo Giulia Quadrifoglio, owned from new. This is our second Giulia Quadrifoglio, and I said in the other video about how it has great brakes, and I really need to elaborate because they're great brakes in the sense that they stop the car well, but they really aren't great brakes to drive with. The first car came with carbon ceramic brakes it was a mandatory option on the launch cars. When I ordered it, you had to have carbon ceramics at a cost of $5,000. When the car actually arrived, the window sticker said that the option was $8,000 or $8,500. But fortunately, Alfa Romeo stuck to the original ordering price of $5,000. But really, carbon ceramics, if you're not tracking the car, I really thought the carbon ceramics were a little bit of overkill. And they had the same problem this car has with the steel brakes, and that is it's a drive-by-wire system, and when you press the pedal, you feel the car stopping, but there's not much feel to it. So they're not my favorite part of the car. There's another reason they're not my favorite part of the car. At the service, second service, I think it was 26,000 miles on the clock, third service perhaps, I was told that it needed new brakes and rotors all the way around, which was a little bit of a surprise given that there were no brake pad warning lights on. And more to the point, the bill was going to be $4,000 for brakes and rotors all the way around. So I took that under advisement and spoke to a mechanic I trust who measured the rotors. He said they're not great, but you probably got a few more miles. So I drove another 10,000 miles, and we decided that the rotors were probably down about 4 mils, and went ahead and replaced the front ones. The rear ones are not down that much. Still no brake pad warning lights, but I changed the pads to Hawk and new rotors, and I will say that since that change, there is a bit more brake feel than before. One other thing that I do love about this car is that if you're in manual mode, whatever setting you're in, if you floor it, it will automatically kick down for you regardless of what gear you're in. Now, our Ferraris and Porsches we've had, the Ferraris do not do that. If you're in manual mode in the dual clutch gearbox, it will not downshift in manual mode just by flooring it. Some Porsche PDKs do, some don't. I have never really understood the rhyme or reason there. So that's a great feature. This is a fabulous gearbox. I've complained about the brakes, but one of the best features of this car is the gearbox. It's a 8-speed automatic. You would really be hard-pressed to tell that it's not a dual clutch gearbox. It really is a fantastic gearbox. Because I just turned a sharp corner there, that reminds me of the steering. The steering is also not. It's designed by the same people who make the brakes. It's very quick steering. It's very sharp. It's very has a tight turning circle. However, there's just not a lot of feel to it. And this car came originally with Pirelli Corsa tires, 20 treadwear or something. They didn't last very long, and then I replaced them, and we kept getting punctures with them. So really decided that needed something else, and I put the Continental, I think DWS all-season tires. Bit more appropriate. This is my daughter's car primarily, and I have to say that with the lack of steering feel, that really I haven't noticed the difference between the Pirelli Corsa tires and the Continental tires. Of course, I haven't driven it on the track, but one big improvement, of course, is wet weather driving. The other thing about this car, because I've just realized I'm running out of gas, it's got a very tiny tank. It gets reasonable gas mileage. I think we've seen 27, 28 on a trip, and at reasonable speeds. But it seems like I'm always filling it up because it's got such a small tank. That's a minor quibble, really, because it is a fantastic car to drive. So I'll leave it at that and wish you all a good day. I'm going to drive some more.